And over to you, Steve.
Over to me. Well, we've got a couple of extras.
Yeah, we have. We've got two guests today, haven't we?
We have mentioned it. Some of our colleagues have mentioned it. So we've got to say thank you to Richard and Chris and Bev. We heard them on Friday night. And yes, we've got Mr. Newbery and Mrs. Snow in the studio, and we're going to talk to them about their book that they've organised, compiled or written. We'll find out what the correct word is.
And it's all about Havenstreet and Ashey, I believe, isn't it?
I hope so, because that's what I said it is.
Okay.
But the really exciting thing is, we've got a copy of the book.
Oh,
so
great.
We can now talk about it.
Right, okay. Okay, Steve, over to you.
Good, thank you very much. And yes, here we have, we've got Keith and Angela and the book. So, welcome along to Angel Radio, both of you. You might want to squeeze in a bit because it's a little studio and we'll be cosy in here. And I mean, the first thing that hits me about the book is what a great name, what a great title. Who was that?
Well, I have to take credit for that, I suppose, because when I worked on the mainland for quite a few years, and people said, "Where'd you come from?" I said, "The Isle of Wight, God's own acre, Havenstreet," and I'd always remembered using that phrase, so I decided to call the book that.
I assumed it was, wrongly, it was going to be something about cricket.
Oh, there's cricket in there?
No, yeah. God's Own Acre.
Yes.
I mean, it's a brilliant title for a cricket book.
Yeah, that's true.
You get the square, and that's brilliant. So we're very privileged. We got the first copies off the press, very hot, so we can actually look through them, and you're going to tell us all about it.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll start at the very beginning. Whose idea was it?
Well, Keith contacted me. He sent me an email and said it's about time we've got together to do this book about the village. We both had great love of Havenstreet, big family connections, and it went from there.
Okay, so your next thing was it going to be your own book, or was it, as it appears to be, a compilation of everybody's book, is it?
It's very much a compilation, because where we were lucky, I mean, Angela and I complemented each other in as much as she's brilliant at research. She went around and spoke to dozens and dozens of people who were only too pleased to unburden themselves of their memories. My strength, if I've got one, is, I suppose, writing and design, because lifetime in newspapers. So we got it all together, and it's sort of, once we marshalled all our facts, then we sat down and said, well, how do we divide them into chapters, and what are the chapters, and we went from there.
Okay, so it's an A4, would you say? That's an A4 size book, so it's not to be rude, it's a proper book, it's not a little leaflet or a pamphlet, so congratulations to attaining a book. Is it your first book?
It is.
It is Angela's first book.
First one I've been involved in.
That's brilliant, and there's lots, it's all about pictures and happenings in the villages.
Absolutely.
Yes, it's mostly Havenstreet, I think we have to say, because Havenstreet, as Angela said, is our big love, but Ashey was tagged on because the Havenstreet and Ashey Parish Council said to us they might be prepared to make a donation towards production costs if we did it about the two villages. But Ashey, there's remarkably little known about Ashey, because it's such a spread out.
There's not really an Ashey village, is there?
No, there's not. There's no centre to Ashey, whereas Havenstreet is a classic. But even that, see, some people say that's outside of Ashey. That sort of ends in Upton Cross.
Yes, as I was saying, Ashey is the next step down the road, but there's not much down there. It's mainly farms, I would have said.
It was, and a hospital and a chapel. But, of course, there's one big chapter, of course, from Ashey, and that's Ashey Races. We've given that its own chapter.
With the railway.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So I'm getting back to our book and to our guests, Keith and Angela, and we were just talking about, actually, we're getting involved with and confused with hospitals, but there seems to be a lot of them around Havenstreet and Ashey. We started off with the Homewood, and then we went to Hazelwood. Homedale. We're going all over the place.
And then Longford.
Longford. We've got 3 hospitals, and an isolation hospital, and a TB hospital, and we're thinking, are there a lot of sickly people in Havenstreet and Ashey? Or
not now, they're all well now. They went to the hospital. But Angela's the expert on Longford and Homedale. Some fascinating stories from there.
Longford was originally called Bewley House, and it was the first vicarage in Havenstreet.
That's all right, carry on. Dave's dropped his teeth.
Sorry about that.
Yes, it was the first vicarage, and eventually we had the vicarage in Church Road, actually opposite the church. So it was became eventually a TB hospital.
We had a caller, Alan from Wootton, and he was talking to David earlier on about the hospital. So the one in Haven Street was the TB hospital for
Longford.
that area, Longford.
Yeah, Longford.
Okay, and it was also known as Bewley.
It was originally that was
House.
its original name.
So there's also the school in
Haven Street.
Haven Street.
Yeah, Haven Street
was it a second? I can't remember. It's got
Just
it written
a junior
on,
school.
It's got it written in stone on the.
That's
on
the
the
second
wall.
school in Haven Street.
Ah.
There was an original one, and it was called St Peter's School.
Okay, St Peter's being the church as well.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay,
and the money was provided by the first vicar of Haven Street, the Reverend Kent.
Gosh, so there's been a lot of research.
Yes, absolutely.
Is this gone back through? Is this just word of mouth research,
No,
is there's documentation that you've managed to find?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
terrific.
Also had an uncle that was very much involved in St Peter's Church warden for many, many years, and he did write up a very nice piece about the church, which Keith has included in the book.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting.
So this is going back to the era when the vicar was the sort of the teacher, that he was the academic, I presume, of a village life, where he was the one that could read and write and put stuff down and record what was happening, i.e. the church roll, the record book of the church.
1852 the church dates from. That's when it was built.
Oh, that's quite new.
Yes,
I was thinking.
yeah.
That surprised me when I found that out.
Yeah,
Surprised me.
1852.
Yeah.
Yes.
It looks ancient.
It
doesn't
does. It really
but
does.
No,
So,
1852.
that's okay. Well, that's is that the original church? Is
Yes.
that the only church?
Yes,
for
no,
Haven
that's
Street?
the original church.
So Haven Street is a new village.
Well,
It goes back quite a way,
yes,
doesn't it?
yes,
Yeah.
but as we know it today, yes, I suppose you could
Yeah.
call it quite a new village.
Quite.
There was a
Yeah.
Methodist
Yeah.
chapel there. There used to be a Methodist chapel
Yes.
there.
That was the
It's
one
now
on the
housed-
corner?
Yes, on the
Absolutely.
bend there.
Yeah, on the
Yeah.
bend.
But Angela will tell you about as well, because fascinating, the chap who really was the benefactor for Haven Street. And thanks
This
to him.
was John Rylands.
Yes.
Yes. He I suppose he bought eventually Bewley House, and then he renamed it Longford. He was a philanthropist, industrialist from Manchester, and he had his house there. It was called Longford Hall, and he named Bewley after his home up in Manchester.
Ah, so that's how we've got a change
That's
of names.
right. He changed Bewley considerably, and changed it, put different wings on, and a conservatory, and stables, and everything. And he also had Homedale built, and that was called the Institute, Longford Institute originally. Plus, he had 1 to 6 Longford cottages built as well, and that was for his workers.
So,
In
very,
Main Road.
very generous man.
Yes.
I mean,
Incredibly
I've lived in Binstead only for 55 years, and I've walked through that way a few times. But
Right.
you're making me want to go and look a bit more now.
Well,
'Cause
there's a good
terrace
book
of
just been written about it.
a terrace of houses you just
Yes,
mentioned, and I'm thinking,
yes.
well, I'm trying to think in my mind.
Just
a
above the
terrace
pub.
of houses. Where's there a terrace of houses?
Just
1 to
above the
6.
pub and where
Yes. Yeah.
between the pub and where the shop
Yeah,
used to be.
Yes.
I mean, it's like going down through Haylands. I was thinking the other day about an old gentleman I used to go past who grew dahlias in his front garden, and he'd stand there by the gate, and he'd be as proud as punch, and you'd have all these little gardens.
Yeah.
And the guys would be there, they'd bring their push bike home and do all that. And I'm thinking, you just said a terrace, and I'm thinking, garden, but there is no gardens anymore. People keep digging them up and
Their
putting,
front gardens, they do. Yes.
and putting these,
Yes.
I can't say damn,
No.
motor cars in
I know.
place of those lovely little
That's it.
village gardens.
Yes,
but
front
yeah,
gardens.
I know where you're talking.
Yes.
But this bloke
I say
Ryan-
terrace, it's not really
No,
a terrace. It's
no.
1 to 6 and 1 to 8 with the shop on the end.
Yes, yes, it is.
Well, the
But
shop that was there.
The shop that was there.
This chap Rylands also built the gasworks at
the station.
Haven Street Station, and
Yes,
he
which-
arranged for the gas to be brought into his workers' homes at Longford. And there's a very amusing incident. Well, wouldn't have been funny for the person involved, but it made me chuckle when Angela told me about it. they weren't used to gas, the old people of Havenstreet, and these workers lived in these cottages. And one night, they were both in bed, and the wife smelt this unusual smell, and the old chap lit a candle and went down to find out what it was and blew the side out of the house.
Oh dear.
No, see, this is the sort of stuff that Andrew's come up with. This man Rylands, if he was today, I mean, he would be very widely regarded and lauded for what he did for that village. I mean, he dragged it up, really, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that institute that he built, which is now Home Dow, it had a reading room for the local men. Help me out, Andrew. Snooker room or billiards room?
Yeah,
wasn't it?
billiards room.
Yeah.
Bagatelle.
Bagatelle. It was
Yes.
fantastic.
Yes.
So, in your research, what instigated Havenstreet? Obviously, the railway came past and served it, but I mean, it's a way away from the village itself.
It
so,
is
I mean,
down
why is Longdale the reason why Havenstreet is
Longford?
Longford. Well done. I'm glad I didn't write the book because I'd have it all wrong. Is that the reason why the village has grown, or it grew? I mean,
They think, people say that it's probably not until the railway came upon the village that it really sort of took off from there. But there's some quite old buildings and a lot of Grade 2 listed buildings in the village.
Yeah.
A lot of the farms are.
so I mean, it's a farming community,
It
really,
is very much
that
so.
was brought together
Yes.
by the railway, I
Yes,
presume.
yeah.
then?
Most men in the village, they worked on the farms, on the land, basically.
And their farm cottages are the houses in Havenstreet down the main road? Would
Yeah,
they
some
be
of those
Some
down
of those
Church
would be.
Road were certainly...
Yes.
Church Road,
Yeah.
the
Lots of
little
farm
cottage?
cottages.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like Anne said, when the railway came through, that certainly established it.
It did.
And it became then a very self-sufficient village, didn't it?
Yes.
It had its own pub, a couple of shops, dairy,
A bakery.
bakery.
Yep.
Oh, it's the bakery,
Yeah.
yeah. Gosh.
Yes. Well, there were two pubs once upon a time, but
There were.
Where was the other one then?
right opposite the White Hart.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Right on the corner of the main road and Church
Yeah.
Road.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hill
Oh, that one that's,
Hill
It
Cottage.
goes up to the church.
Right
Yeah.
on the corner there. It was probably just a small beer house, but yes.
It's the White Hart that's always been the pub
Yes.
in
yes,
the village.
Yes.
Okay, David, you're sitting there wondering when you can play your next record.
No, that's all right. You carry on. It's very interesting because it's our part of the world, isn't it? Really.
It is. We've got to be a bit biased, I'm afraid, because that's where we are. Okay, then. Well, we've just had a little talk, and we were talking about steam trains and how the railway affected Havenstreet. And there's a whole chapter in this book, and we'll pass it over to Keith because he was just telling me that he had somebody help him out.
Yeah, I mean, not just help out. I've got somebody to actually write the entire chapter because it is such a popular subject on the island and way beyond the island that anybody who writes anything about the Isle of Wight Steam Centre or Havenstreet Station as it used to be has to get it right because there are 1,000 experts out there who pick on any mistake. So I contacted them and they deputed Roger Salisbury to write it. Write the chapter for us. He's done a superb job on it. He's made it detailed without making it just a load of lists and facts, which could have been a bit boring. For instance, Havenstreet was always 2 words as far as the railway station was concerned, until about the 50s, I think, and they suddenly said, "Oh, we'll go along with the popular belief or something, and we'll make it 1 word." So, but before that, it was always 2 words.
Yeah, it was up until the end of the railway, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Up until the 66 when the
Well,
railway
just
sort of
before that,
packed
they
up. I mean,
changed it.
the old signs for Havenstreet Station were 2 words.
Yeah.
Yeah, Haven
Yeah, they
Street.
were. They were at the time, I think, the only people that were using 2 words for it. But now, of course, it's put Havenstreet right on the map. It's a magnificent venture. They've done it superbly well, and I would say it's probably known to steam enthusiasts throughout the world, let alone this country.
They have got a bit of a reputation for restoring bits and pieces, haven't
Yes, they have. Yeah, they're superb.
I was just looking through the book, and there's a great picture of the old coal house, the gas house that we were
Yeah.
talking about earlier on, about the gas being provided for the
And you
cottages.
notice there's a spur line that goes from the main line off.
Yeah,
So that's what would have taken the coal.
This was
into
coal town gas.
Yeah.
It would have been extracted from the coal, and then the end result was a big pile of Coke. I
Yes,
believe.
it was.
As a child, I remember having a Coke fire at home.
Yes, so do we.
Couldn't afford coal.
No, that's right. The Coke worked, didn't it?
Coke works. That's the thing. Okay. Now, Winters, they've got to be the other big known name of Havenstreet, along with the railway and the hospital, and it's Winters, the car people. They got a big part in this book as well, I believe.
Well, they have, because Roy is my oldest friend, known him 55 years. Ray and Kenny I'm very friendly with as well, and they agreed to be major sponsors of the book, which helped to defray quite a lot of the publication costs, because producing a book of that quality, with quality paper like that, is not cheap, and they really did dig deep to help us out, and they are officially acknowledged as sponsors of the book. And there's a chapter in there about their father Fred, one of the best known characters in the village, that I wrote about him, because again he was an old friend of mine as well, and he was a wonderful character.
Well, talking of characters, I know something Dave wants to talk about, because on page 101 we have got a picture of a young Keith Newbery and a very young lady as well.
Yeah, because we've mentioned this before, haven't we?
And we have, and here it is. It's actually documented in this book, and David's often mentioned it, and the young lady is Petula Clark.
Because we didn't know the date that happened, didn't we?
But the picture we've got here has got a young man sat on her lap, so I think we could ask Keith to just sort of...
Well, it's me looking at the age of 4, probably 5, looking very unimpressed to be in the embrace of a very pretty 18-year-old lady who went on to become one of the world's big stars, Petula Clark. And it was taken at St Michael's Church in Ryde. I suppose you call it Hayden's, couldn't you? Down St Michael's Avenue. Somebody at the church knew her, or knew somebody who knew her, and she was at the start of a big career then. I think she'd appeared with Wilfred Pickles and people like that. And
I think she had an aunt in Ray Street, from what I...
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the connection,
yeah,
Dave.
she did definitely have it in the little cottages by next to the vicarage.
Yes.
Down there, yeah.
Yeah,
sure
right
that.
opposite the church. So
and
they got her to come there, and she charged... anybody who wanted to have a photograph taken. It was all for charity. I mean, I don't know what that would have been. I spent 6pence in those days, because we're talking 60 years ago now. But it was... and my mate John Hannam, who writes and broadcasts sort of show business stuff, he took that photograph up to her, and because he went to interview her, and he said, "Do you recognise anybody here?" And she never recognised me. I was a bit disappointed.
Oh dear.
But she did recognise herself.
Oh,
so,
she did.
Yeah. And she was intrigued to see it.
Great. We haven't got a Petula Clark record lined up, have we?
No, we haven't. I was just having a look at this book, and I see the name Keith Salmon's appeared.
Yes.
I went to school with Keith.
Yes,
and he
big
went on,
long Keith.
Yeah, and he went on to be a captain of Oil Tankers BP, I
Yes.
believe. Is that right?
Yes, he did.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen him for quite a while now.
Yes. Well, he's the family trees in Havenstreet are incredibly entwined. Now, Angela is a relative of Keith, or the Salmon family.
We're cousins.
Cousins.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. The Lills.
Keith's mum, Molly, and my mum, they were first cousins.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting. And he's 6'6".
He was huge.
Yeah.
I can remember him during the winter of '62, all that snow, down Church Road by the side where the wreck is. We were kids then, 14, and he was probably 15, and he jumped from the hedge, because the entire part of that road was filled with snow, with a drift, and he jumped from the hedge into the drift, and all you could see above it was his head. He was lucky he didn't smother himself, really. And there's a photograph somewhere, which unfortunately we couldn't find, of his head just appearing above the snow.
All right.
Okay, we're going to put a question to Angela now about her book. About her book. It's your book. I get. It's your book. I can't say our, because it's not me. It's your book. Okay. And it's all about Havenstreet and Ashey, and it's called God's Own Acre. And it's got a bit about quite a bit about your childhood.
Well,
You're being an Havenstreet girl.
Yes, I am. Yeah, Keith and I, we've both sort of done our own chapters, and I was born in the village. And my sort of background on my mother's side of the family goes back to the 1850s when the Leals came to the village. And that's where I went to school, went to church, and played up the rec and down the copse and did all the things that children did in the 1950s.
If you did the sort of things we did, you'll be in trouble. But,
you were a boy.
Yes. I think did they attack buses in Havenstreet as well? But
is that what you did?
well, we had
So not very nice thing to do.
we had big
Throw acorns at them.
big flicky sticks. And in those days, back in the early
We behaved
60s,
ourselves
there was a lot of building work going on
A
in.
vandal then, weren't you?
Yeah, well, there was a lot of building work going on in Binstead in the early 60s. A lot of houses, a lot of new estates going in, and Cleaver's Farm, but that's sort of between Havenstreet and Binstead, so just on the outskirts.
Yeah.
But as we said, it's a lot of farms. Havenstreet is mainly farm people and that area. So the book itself,
Yep.
it's Angela's memoirs and your memoirs, but
Yeah.
you weren't a Havenstreet boy, you were sort of a bit further afield. You came in early.
I was born. I spent most of my childhood in St Michael's Avenue. Then the Bushell family came in and kicked us out of our house in St Michael's Avenue, and we had to move up to Upton Cross.
Are you talking about Vera Keith?
No, they are related. Yeah, I've done the family tree. I didn't realise that after all these years, about 50 years, I found out that Chris Bushell was related to me.
Really?
Yeah, he's about third cousin.
Well, they booted us out. The Bushell vandals booted us out, and we had to go up to Upton
I
Cross.
haven't seen you since, have I? Really?
No, well, it's the first time in 50 years.
Just as
now.
well, really, because they actually left from where we lived.
Oh, did they? Well, then all my friends were Havenstreet
It wasn't the
lads.
same house though, was it?
No, it wasn't the same. They lived two doors up the road from us before they left our place.
Really?
And went and kicked you out. So that's how small the island is.
Well, so you got rid of them nice and early then?
Yes, we did. And then you got them. So the book is, as we said, it's God's Own Acre. It's for sale, obviously. And it will be, because we've only just got it. You've only just got it. It's arrived today. And money. Let's talk money. Where's the money going?
The money,
How much is the book then?
The book will be £15.
Right.
And when we have covered all our costs, anything that the book makes will be donated to St Peter's Church. A small, all these little small village churches, they're all always in need of some extra cash, and anything that we can give to them, I'm sure will be greatly appreciated.
Because I know you've had a success. I say successful. You had a very good money raise in the pub.
In
We
the
talked about
coffee
the
morning.
pub, a coffee
Yes.
morning, and
Yes.
a raffle, which went off very well.
It did.
Several weeks ago now.
yeah.
And you've got something else happening in the church.
We've got a social evening next week on Wednesday the 21st at the community centre. We've sold all the tickets, we're completely sold out. We've got a social evening where Keith is going to be giving his talk about newspaper business and the county press, etc. And my brother is going to be doing some singing for us.
Ooh.
And I've seen his repertoire, and,
Yes.
and there's some, you'll love it, Dave, there's some fantastic,
Yes.
especially songs from the shows and old favourites from the...
That's right.
Yeah, it'll be very, very
He
good.
sings with my other brother with New Church Malvoice Choir. And they've got good voices, and his wife Jenny will accompany him, and I'm sure it'll be a lovely evening.
I'm sure it will.
Well, hopefully we've got people interested in this book. Obviously, people of Havenstreet and Ashey and Haylands and all those three villages are going to be interested in it. Where can they get it?
Well, they'll be able to get it from the county press from the end of this month. Date will be the May the 24th. They've got Angela and I, they've asked us if we'll go up and do a signing on the Saturday morning up at the county press shop, which we'll be only too happy to do. So anybody who wants to buy a book can come up there.
Okay,
And,
so County Press in Pole Street,
Pole
is
Street.
it? Pole
Yeah.
Street, up round the back.
Yeah,
It used to be out the front,
did.
but that's just age. So it's at the back of the County Press. And will you have any copies at Havenstreet?
We will, yes. Yes, there'll be plenty there, and people
Yeah.
can buy on the night.
The railway, are they going to be able to sell it for you?
They've said that
they will stock it.
Have they? Right,
They've
that's
stocked
good.
it as well,
Yeah.
so that's
Yeah.
good.
Excellent.
So
Excellent.
it's going to be available in lots of different areas.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, we're just going through gosh, get the words out. Just going through this book, God's Own Acre, and I was just saying, have we missed anything out? Is there anything you want to say? We've got all these pictures,
Can we just say that there is a fantastic amount of pictures in here?
and these pictures have come from...
Yeah. People that have very, very readily sort of given and looked through all their cupboards and things and come up with these super, super photographs. And there'd be many in there that people have not seen before. Some of them have come from old postcards, which there'll be some people that are familiar with them, but others, there's some real humdingers in there.
And we're very fortunate because a gentleman who doesn't live far from here called Alan Stroud, who writes books about the island. And have you ever had him on this programme?
We haven't had him on the programme, but he writes railway books, doesn't he?
No,
Is
he
that
writes island history books.
Island history.
And he writes, he goes through the county press and writes huge amounts from the past files. It's very interesting, but he's also extremely skilled with photographs, and he took all of our photographs, virtually all of them, and improved them to the extent where some of them, that one of course was taken 50 years ago. Looks like it was taken last week.
60 years.
60 years ago,
Yeah.
and a picture of a Sunday school outing.
It looks like one of our school, from
Incredible.
Bince's school. It
Yeah.
looks like the sort of thing they would have taken in the playground through one of the sports days or
That's right, and
May
Alan did it all
days.
for nothing for us, to which we're very grateful. And I think there's nearly 46,000 words, and there's nearly 160 photographs. So I think it's well worth the £15.
I think one of the chapters that is quite interesting is the village at war.
Yes.
I think that is quite an interesting chapter.
It is. Yeah, very.
Yeah.
With the old Dad's Army Brigade and
I've just
everything.
found a photograph in the book with Brian Hull in this, and Eric Hull, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's you, Steve.
Would there?
Page 119.
119.
Yeah.
That's the Ashey tug of war team.
1957.
Yeah,
There you go.
Well, he was a pig farmer.
yeah.
Eric was.
Was he related to you?
He would be, yes, because the other guy stood there, Brian. That's my dad.
Really? Is
Yeah.
it really?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
There was, I can't remember how many brothers there are. They're mostly, I can recognise them.
He's
Yeah, there's
the
a young chap at the back.
He's fourth from the left.
Yeah,
Oh, right.
yeah. There's
Nobby Richards, Matt Richards' brother.
there was Eric Roy, who served in Lancaster Bombers. He lives in Wootton. He was the eldest brother. And there's Roy and Eric.
I see there's a
And-
Don Foss. Was that related
garage.
to the
That's
garage?
the
Yes,
garage
yeah,
people.
the garage, yeah.
The chappie on the top left, Pete Hayden, he was the one that gave the photograph to be used.
Ah. So he remembers all the faces. He's got
He
them
did,
written
yes,
down.
he named everyone, yes.
Yeah.
And he was to do, part of his family was Hayden's that used to be at Poncast Farm in Havenstreet.
Yes, yeah. Went to school with a couple of the Hayden boys. Yeah.
Well, there's some really fascinating pictures in the book. I mean, there's another one here that's sort of interests me, being I live in Ashey.
Yeah.
St Matthew's Mission Church in Ashey, and I'm thinking, where was that? But that's got to be for me to find out, I suspect. And
I think
I can tell you where that is. That's bottom of Deacon's Lane, isn't it?
it's changed a little, I believe,
The
hasn't
bottom
it?
of Deacon's Lane. Before you go
that's
to,
on the main road.
Yeah, just
Yes.
past the garage.
Yeah, I know where it
Yeah,
is
on the
now.
left, on
Now
the
you've
left.
As you
mentioned
go
it.
up towards the down.
Yes.
Yeah, before you get to the isolation hospital.
Yeah,
This side of the road.
that's right.
That's
Yeah.
it.
That's where that was.
That's my photograph, I've got that one.
So it's a brilliant picture.
It is.
I mean, it's
Fantastic.
actually a corner of Green Lane. It's Green Lane Farm, Cheeks Farm, which is
There's
next to it.
not a lot that we could find, could we, to do
No,
with
we
Ashey?
struggled to find Ashey
there was-
photographs.
Yeah, so we were pleased
We really
to
did.
get the tug of war ones.
Yeah, I mean that's
Yes.
something new to me. Great. So I think we've got to wish you every success for your book, and let's hope we get a lot of interest in it. And you said Wednesday week, is it?
21st.
Is sold out, I'm afraid.
It is.
Yeah.
It's sold out.
So that's
Yes.
going to be raising money because you still need to cover the cost of
We
publishing.
do. Yes.
Yeah.
So you're raising money to cover the cost
Yeah.
of publishing because the profits of the book are actually going to the church,
It is St Peter's.
St Peter's.
Yes, for our months of effort, we get absolutely zilch out of it personally. Except the pleasure of having done it and
Absolutely,
the fulfilment
yeah.
and...
We've
And you see all these old
and
photos.
it's all on record now. For,
Yes,
for
it is,
people.
forever.
Yes.
So that's
yes,
great.
It's there. Yeah.
So is it going to be online? Is it available online? I mean, I'm not one of these geeks that know about this sort of thing, but I believe you can get books and things actually as a CD or something online.
You can download them, and I mean we had also very talented page designer Simone, who designed all the pages for us, and she sent us all JPEGs, whatever they're called, of
Yeah, the
each
photographs,
page and
yeah.
each chapter and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So I suppose it could be done, but it's not something that
It's not
we've,
you're doing.
no.
Is it a Kindle or something or something?
Kindle?
Kindle.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, the book. yeah,
You can actually download
Download
it
a book.
onto
Yeah.
onto
Yeah.
your whatever it's
But
called.
then you see, I think you need the full A4 book size to see the effect of some of the photographs.
Yeah, I mean it's a terrific
wouldn't get on a
size.
Kindle.
I mean,
Yeah.
and for the print quality, I mean, like
Yes,
you say,
it
it's terrific. I mean, I do a bit of printing and a bit of pictures, but yeah, to see these old pictures brought up like that, I mean, there's picture of the Ashey races, the Ashey, is it the Grand
Yeah.
National?
Yeah.
Was it the
Yeah,
Isle of Wight?
actually Scurry.
The Scurry, the Grand National, whatever. It had lots of different names, but it's all in this book.
It
so
is.
some great thatched cottages, great big hay ricks and things like that.
Yes.
So
Yeah, some nice farming pieces of interest to people. That's Leopard's Farm.
wow. It's got the clematis all over the front door.
Well, and we'll make an official gift of that one to David, even though his family kicked us out of our
That's
house.
very kind of you. Oh, thank you.
You can have that one.
I'll shake your hand for that. 'Cause that's absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much.
We'll leave
indeed.
one in the
it's
studio. I'll
wonderful.
leave this one in the studio then that's been given to me, and so that our
I really enjoy that.
other
I really
presenters
enjoy
can
looking
see
at that. Oh,
it,
that's great.
and we can mention it again.
Could you sign it for me? Both?
Yeah, no, I've done enough
are you-
writing. No, I'll be only too pleased. We both will.
That's
Yeah.
lovely. I'll give you my special expensive pen.
Okay, we'll let Angela do it first.
There we are. So two great authors in the making. I shouldn't say that. The guy's making a career out of writing, and he's bigger than me as well. No, but there we are. It looks a great book. It's full of nostalgia and give you a good idea of what happened all those years ago from about the 1850s.
And thanks very much for our copies. And I should really enjoy reading that, Keith.
You're very welcome.
Because I'm being brought up like you in Haylands
Yeah,
all our lives. And I noticed there's some names there from school.
you'll know.
Ian
all right.
Groves.
Yeah, yeah.
And a few others.
Yeah.
So I'll enjoy that. Thanks
But
very much.
who's the lady on the front cover? She looks like she's just about to give somebody some
She's a
real.
mouthful. Yeah, and we don't know who she is,
Don't know who she
unfortunately.
If you kick my ball in your front garden, you know,
Yeah.
and no, you're not having it back.
I tried to find her on the old censuses,
Yeah.
but there was no one that corresponded with that house that would have been that age. So I think she must have lived close and
Yeah.
Just happened to- yeah.
he got
Is this
into
coming
close.
from the wreck down to the church?
No.
That's the other way.
Yeah, this is from the pub going up.
Because I'm
Church
looking
Road.
at the church.
No. Church is that side.
I'm looking at this one.
That's the parish room.
Yeah.
The parish room.
Yes,
I'm
which
thinking
is
we're
not
looking
there
at a
anymore.
picture going down
No.
Church Road from the wreck end, but
When
it's
it was
not.
when it was
Okay.
originally built, it had the spire, but that got demolished in a gale just before 1930, and it was never replaced. But the whole building is now gone.
Okay, so this is actually the front picture on the cover is
Church
Main
Road.
It's Church Road.
This is Church Road.
Okay.
The church is hidden behind the trees there.
Ah, so these
The
are where
old
the new
girl
houses
is
are.
saying,
Yes.
"Get that camera out of my face."
She's saying
I
something,
can see
isn't
that.
she?
Yeah. I mean, that was probably in a 19th century picture.
Well, it's probably early 1900s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Incredibly
Yeah.
old, and yet
Yeah.
the quality of it again.
110 years old, I
Yeah.
think that is.
Probably taken on a 2.25-inch plate camera or something like that would have been.
That's from a well-known ride photographer, Broderick. Which he
there
did
we are.
fantastic early postcards of.
Yeah, the quality of those
Yeah.
early pictures.
Do you know what? That road is better than the road today. Isn't it?
Even with those few stones
There's a
on the
few
side.
pebbles on the side, it's absolutely flat, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's
Yes.
true.
Wish we knew who the children were.
The children, yeah.
Yes.
But there's certainly one of them's got their eye on the photographer,
All dressed
along
up.
with the old
Yes.
the lady in the
Yes.
in the front of the house,
Yes.
and the young guy. Well, we're going to say thank you very much for
Yes.
coming in,
Yes,
discussing
indeed.
your book.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Thank you-
Down
thank
memory
you for
lane.
having us.
Yes, thank you.
And that's great. So get along to the County Press from next week, you say?
From Saturday week.
Saturday week.
Yeah.
And you're going to be up there doing a little bit of signing on the same Saturday week, is it?
In the morning.
In the morning.
10:30 to 12:30.
And you can ask all the questions that I've forgotten to ask. And get yourself a copy of the book. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thanks very much, Keith and Angela. While Steve's showing them back to reception, I'm going to play Judy Garland now from 1939 with the Victor Young Band. This is called Zing Went the String.